Good morning, students. In earlier class, we have already discussed about the different types of life processes which are required for sustaining our life. We have discussed that how a living being can be defined. What are the different life processes done by the living being for sustaining their life? Like they are doing digestion, they are doing breathing, they are responding towards the stimuli, they show growth and movement, they uh, do the process of excretion, reproduction, all by coordinating their body system. They control, they show nervous system, and we have already discussed them. So first in detail we are going to study about nutrition. What the nutrition means? It means that the various mode of taking food inside the body and utilizing energy from it. We are the different organisms are taking their food in different ways so that they can utilize energy from it and able to sustain their life activities. So let's see, there are mainly two mode of nutrition. There are two types of nutrition by which organisms are able to prepare their food. First one is autotrophic nutrition and second one is heterotrophic nutrition. Auto words stand for self and trophic means preparation of food. And so these are the organisms which are making their food by themselves. They are simply making their food by taking inorganic substances present in atmosphere and utilizing energy from it. Another one is heterotrophic nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, organisms are depending on other organisms for getting their food, and there are different ways by which they are getting their food. First of all, we are discussing about autotrophic nutrition, which is further done by two organisms. What they are, on the basis of the kind of nutrition they are doing, they are called as chemosynthetic and photosynthetic. Chemosynthetic, chemo word stand for chemicals and synthesis means to prepare. So they prepare their food by inorganic chemicals present in atmosphere. They are generally prokaryotic bacteria like blue-green algae, cyanobacteria, nitrobacters, which are simply getting their food by sulfur, nitrogen, these kind of inorganic substance present in our surrounding. Second one is photosynthetic organisms. Photosynthetic mode of nutrition is a way by which only and only green plants prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. And in earlier classes, you might have studied about the process of photosynthesis. It is a kind of process by which the green plants prepare their food with the help of carbon dioxide from air, water and mineral absorbed by the roots from soil, and this occurs in the presence of sunlight as well as green pigment present in it. The later we will discuss this process in detail. First, before that, let's see the second mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophic nutrition, or the way in which the organisms are depending on other organisms for getting their food. Again, on the basis of the different ways of getting food and utilizing energy by depending on other organisms, this is of three types. First one is parasitic mode of nutrition, second one is saprotrophic mode of nutrition, and the third one is holozoic mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition, the organisms are just depending sucking the nutrition from a host organism, or they suck the food from other organisms body. So it depends on their location, where are they residing on the body of host organism. First one is, they, on the basis of it we can divide them in two types. They are ectoparasites or endoparasites. Ectoparasites organisms are those which are residing outside the body of other organism, simply laying on it and sucking the absorbed food material for sustaining their life. And like leech, lice present in the hairs of human beings. Okay, this may be ticks in the body of domestic animals. You might have seen that the dog, cat, or the cow, various cattle, they have these small ticks in their body. What is the use of the ticks? The ticks are ectoparasites. They simply hide themselves in the hairs of those those animals, cattle, or the domestic animal like cat, dog, and resides there easily. They absorb their food by sucking their blood. So they are the example of ectoparasite. One more is there. You might have studied in earlier classes about cuscuta or dodder. These are the plants. Cuscuta is a kind of parasitic plant. It looks green, but it generally found on the neem plant, which you can't find the root of that plant. It's simply by binding on the stem, it absorbs the nutrition from it. So it is also an example of ectoparasites. Now let's see the parasites which are living inside the body of other organism. They are called as endoparasites. Endoparasites are those organisms which are residing inside the body of host, like E. coli, tapeworm, plasmodium. You can easily find out that these organisms are present in our body and they simply suck our blood. They suck our blood and resides there and utilize energy from it and able to survive. So this is one of the kind of parasitic mode of nutrition in which organism depends on others organism. Second one is saprotrophic organism. Sapro words, in earlier classes you have studied about saprophytes or saprotrophs. Saprotrophic mode of nutrition means these are the kind of organism which feed on dead and decaying matter of plant and animals or after their death. So sapro means dead and decaying matter. They are getting their food by the help of feeding on the dead and decaying matter like fungi. And they are very helpful for us because they help to clean our environment. Otherwise, what will happen if these organisms will not be there in our atmosphere? Then there will be a heap of the dead and decaying matter. How will they replenish in the soil? Their work is simply degrading into the simpler substance by feeding on them and making clean our surroundings. So they are very, very benefited for our environment also. They help as they are helping in replenishing the inorganic substance back into the soil. Third one is holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition in which the organisms simply get their food in the whole form and they are generally done by the higher multicellular well-developed organisms like human being, dog, tiger. They are able to get nutrition from that whole food material in different steps. The steps of Holozoic nutrition are, we will discuss it in detail later. Right now I am just explaining you the steps. As first one is ingestion, second one is digestion, third one is absorption, fourth one is assimilation, and the fifth one is egestion. These are the steps of Holozoic nutrition. Ingestion, in which simply the food is taken inside the body. Digestion, these food taken here is simply break down into simpler substances so that they can be easily absorbed by the body of organism. Absorption, after digesting the food into very simpler form, they are absorbed by the blood cells. Assimilation, after absorption of different kinds of food, different components of food like carbohydrate, protein, vitamins, fats, they all are assimilated. They all gets mixed and then transported to different parts of the body for utilizing energy from it. And last one is egestion. Egestion, in which elimination of undigested food which is not required for the body is done. So these are the steps of Holozoic nutrition about which we will discuss in detail later under the topic human digestive system. First, about photosynthetic mode of autotrophic nutrition. Photosynthesis occurs in green plants. Let's see how this process takes place. Now let's see how photosynthesis occurs in green plants. We have mentioned that this mode of autotrophic nutrition occurs in green plant is done by the light, sunlight. So here photo means light and synthesis means to combine. Let's see how this combination of inorganic substance occurs by the help of sunlight. Here, as we are mentioning again and again, that this process occurs in green plant. So green plant consists of chlorophyll, and here the chlorophyll helps in the process of photolysis, about which we will discuss later. Now let's see, in this process, as we have defined earlier, that photosynthesis, in which carbon dioxide from air is taken inside and root absorbs by the xylem cells water and mineral from the soils. These are the inorganic substances which are combined in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, and they prepare the food as glucose. Okay, so here photosynthesis occurs in the process in which after preparation of food, the byproduct or released here is oxygen gas, which is done by the help of stomata. Stomata are the opening pores present on the surface of leaf. They help in exchange of gases. They help in taking in carbon dioxide and releasing out oxygen from the surface of leaf. Along with this, some water vapor is also released in this process. Now let's see the reaction for this process. It is a total balanced reaction in which 6 molecules of carbon dioxide react with 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. They make glucose C6H12O6, along with which they release as a byproduct 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water in the form of vapor. You can see and check whether the reaction is balanced or not. As per the definition, carbon dioxide and water molecules are synthesized. Means synthesis means to combine. Combine in the presence of sunlight, photo. Okay. And green plant we are saying, so it is chlorophyll. And they make glucose, the food material, release oxygen gas and water in the vapor form. Now let's see what happened in chlorophyll. Students, in class 9th, you have discussed about the cell organelles of plants and animals, in which the plants are green in color because of presence of chloroplast inside them. So the chloroplast is a double membranous structure mainly made up of grana and stroma. Grana, which is a pile of thallus-like structure, which is called as thylakoid. You have already studied about this structure in class 9th. We are just recalling it, that how the grana and stroma helps in photosynthesis. We will discuss later that the photosynthesis occurs in two phases. One is light phase reaction, another one is dark phase reaction. Light phase reaction in which depends on light. Which one light? Sunlight here. And stroma, which occurs in grana molecules of chloroplast or chlorophyll. And dark phase of reaction in which mainly synthesis occurs, the combination of this carbon dioxide with hydrogen molecule to form glucose, which occurs in the stroma, a liquid material of chloroplast. Okay, how these light phase of reaction and dark phase of reaction takes place, we will discuss in the next turn. Before that, now let's see what is the role of this chlorophyll. Chlorophyll actually helps here as they help in trapping of light. This sunlight is trapped by the help of this chlorophyll and they become energized. This energy is further used in splitting of water molecule, so that this water molecule gets break and the hydrogen joined with carbon dioxide to form glucose. So we can also say here as, so the splitting of water molecule, this process is also called as photolysis of water. In which the water molecule H2O, its breakdown into H plus and OH ions. Oxygen from this OH is released in air as a byproduct, whereas the hydrogen combines with carbon dioxide to form glucose. And this glucose, when in extra in amount, is stored in the plant body in the form of starch. Like we also store this glucose in the form of glycogen. It is stored in the body of animal in the form of glycogen, whereas in plants it is stored in the form of starch, extra glucose. Now we have seen that how the reaction of photosynthesis happens, in which water molecules mainly break down by the help of trapping of sunlight by chlorophyll, and then the hydrogen combines with carbon dioxide to form glucose, whereas oxygen is released back into the air. Now let's see how this process happens here in the green plants and affected by the various factors. Okay. Now let's see the factors affecting the process of photosynthesis. First one is chlorophyll. As we know that this process only occurs in the presence of chlorophyll pigment. That's why we say photosynthesis is only and only done by the green plants. So it is very necessary one. Second is sunlight. The presence of sunlight is very essential for this process, but the low light, when the light is not in full wave, then it slow down the process, whereas extra bright light or too much of sunlight also destroy the cells of chlorophyll, which leads to the hamper of this process. Third factor is temperature. The main optimum temperature for process of photosynthesis is 20 degree to 30 degree Celsius. Beyond this, when the temperature is low or when the temperature is above 40 degree Celsius, this process also gets low or it affects the process, because at a high temperature the enzymes get denatured and affect the process. Next factor is carbon dioxide. We know that carbon dioxide is utilized in this process, so the process is increased with the increase in its concentration, but that concentration is up to the 0.01%. Beyond this, when the concentration is more, it decreases the process of photosynthesis. The last factor which affects this process is water. This is called reduced. When the water is in proper amount, the process occurs properly, but when the availability of water is decreased, it causes closure of stomatal cells. And when the stomatal cells, as we have studied in class 9th also, discussed earlier also, that stomata helps in exchange of gases. It helps in taking in of carbon dioxide, releasing out of oxygen cells. So when the water concentration is low, it leads to the closure of stomata. So there will be reduction in concentration of carbon dioxide, which finally decreases the process of photosynthesis. So this is all about how the process of photosynthesis takes place in green plant as a mode of autotrophic nutrition. Now let's see the significance of photosynthesis. Significance means the main significance of photosynthesis is, as we all know that photosynthesis is a life supporting process, and because oxygen is released here as a byproduct, and oxygen is required for respiration to all living organisms in this planet. So this process helps in providing oxygen, maintaining the balance of oxygen in atmosphere. Second thing, it provides food to all the organisms, because indirectly everybody, directly or indirectly, each and every organisms of heterotrophic mode of nutrition are depending on photosynthesis. So it also provides food in the form of glucose to all the organisms. This is all about the autotrophic nutrition in organism. In the next meeting, we will discuss about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition in details. Before that, now your homework is to learn all the topics and definitions which we have discussed today in our class. Thank you.